Hey, and welcome to the Systems Boutique podcast. I'm Dr. Raymona H. Lawrence. Most people just simply call me Dr. Raymona. I'm your systems stylist and your business operations expert, and I'm here to help you build a high-end boutique style back-end that creates ease and scalability for you without sacrificing the luxury experience your clients absolutely deserve. So if you're a speaker, a coach, a consultant, a course creator, or author who's ready to stop the overwhelm, ditch the tech confusion, and finally streamline your systems and operations, you are in the right place. Each week, I'll bring you actionable strategies, expert insights, and behind-the-scenes business systems and operations insights to help you scale with ease, efficiency, and absolute excellence. So grab your notebook, your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and let's get to work. Welcome to the Systems Boutique, where systems meet style. Hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Systems Boutique podcast. I am Dr. Raymona, and today I am solo on the podcast. And so if you all cannot see me, I have on my red glasses, so you know it's about to go down. I am so excited about what we are talking about today. So many of you are overwhelmed. You ask me, how in the world do you get all the things done? You are multi-talented. You have so many different responsibilities. You want that elusive work-life balance, all the things. And so this episode is absolutely for you. So stay tuned if you are ready to learn how to balance all the things and make sure that you get it all done. So I love this technique that I use. I have taught thousands of faculty members. I have taught thousands of business owners this technique, and it is called juggling. So let's talk about it. I'm going to break it all down for you. So I initially learned about just the basic concept of juggling when I read a book by T.D. Jakes. So T.D. Jakes is a minister who does all the things, and he was talking about what he does to make sure that he doesn't drop a ball. And so I eventually edited that and adapted that concept to what I do with systems and ops. And so today we are not talking about all the tech and all the things. We are talking about a very practical strategy that you can use right now, today, to make sure that you don't drop a ball. So when you think about juggling in real life, I really don't juggle. So if this is not exactly how you juggle, I did this lecture in a conference before, and somebody said, you don't actually throw the ball this way and all of this. Okay, let's not be too technical about this. Stay with me. So when you juggle, as far as I know, you are going to throw one ball harder to the top of the circle then you do the other ones. Okay, so you throw one ball up and then you touch the other ones to keep them from falling so that you don't drop a ball, right? So that's the basic concept of juggling. You can get technical if you want to, but let's just go with that for now. So you're going to throw one ball hard to the top of the circle. You touch the other ones so that they don't fall. So what I do with all the mini tasks, and I'll stop here to go back and tell you about all the different things that I have to do so that you don't think that this is just theory. And so my regular job is a professor. I have all of the things that I have to do for being a professor. I have to do the research, the teaching, the service, all of that, along with running a research center. I'm the director of research for a sickle cell organization. I'm the editor-in-chief of a journal. I have also the family. I have 2 children, the husband, all of the things for church, everything that you all do. And obviously, I own the Systems Boutique. So I am a CEO. I'm a director of operations for an organization as well as multiple clients. So there is a lot to be done. I have really taken hold of this juggling technique over time so that I could get all of those things done and stay sane and be a person that's physically fit and healthy and all of the things. Okay. And so back to the juggling technique. Here's what I do. Remember, we just talked about I have one thing that's my heavy lift and two or three things that are my light touches. So what is a heavy lift and what is a light touch? Well, a heavy lift is something that takes me a lot of time or a lot of brain power. Okay. In my academic life, that might be writing a lit review. That would be a heavy lift because I'm going to have to read a lot of articles. I'm going to have to make sure that I have done the research. It takes time and it takes brain power. Okay, so that's a heavy lift. In my business world, it might be that I am preparing a speech or something that I need to do in a consulting agreement. And so I need to plan out the workshop or the different modules that I'm going to do for that consulting. So that would be a heavy lift. It takes me a lot of time and a lot of brain power. Okay, what is a light touch? A light touch is something that takes me 30 minutes or less, or I can delegate it. And so you are going to break your task into heavy lifts and light touches. So let's talk about how to do that. The first thing that I do is to write down all of the responsibilities, all of the categories of things that I have to do. So I'm going to say, here's what I need to do for research. Here's what I need to do for teaching. Here's what I need to do for that speech. Here's what I need to do for that consulting agreement. Here's what I need to do for my family. Here's what I need to do for my health. And I write all that down. So we call that a brain dump. So that is the very first thing that you do in this process. You have to brain dump everything you have. I brain dump literally the word rest because you all know you are busy entrepreneurs. You are not going to just rest. You need to tell yourself to rest. And so I brain dump the word rest so that I know to do it and that I remind myself. I obviously know to do it, but I remind myself that that is important and it is something that I need to do. If you have a doctor's appointment, things you need to do for your children, whatever it is, put it all down on that paper. Okay. Now, this is the point where you can say, this is a heavy lift or this is a light touch for me. So if I'm looking down that list, I have brain dumped everything on that piece of paper and I have probably 20, 30 things on this paper. I say, this one takes me a lot of time and a lot of brain power. So I'm going to call it a heavy lift. This one takes me a little bit of time, or I can delegate it to someone else. I can delegate it to a team member, or I can delegate it to my CRM. So shout out to the Systems Boutique. And so I may be able to just delegate it to the CRM and say, this is something that I can schedule within that CRM and just get it done. Okay. And so I'm breaking all of these down. Now I know what this task is a heavy lift. This task is a light touch. Then I like to highlight them. So I will take a highlighter and I say, heavy lifts are going to be blue and light touches are going to be yellow. So I go and highlight heavy lifts in blue, light touches in yellow. What happens next? So then I say, here is the one heavy lift I'm going to do on Monday. And then here are the 2, 3, 4 max light touches that I'm going to do on Monday with that heavy lift. Okay. So why do I say just one heavy lift? If you try to heavy lift more than one task, you are going to drop the ball. I know. We are entrepreneurs. We are business owners. We are parents. We have a lot of different things to do. But what happens, and I call this the academic or the business owner shuffle. So we say, I'm going to do all of these heavy lifts in this day. And then you get to the day and then you're shuffling it to the next day or the next week or the next month and you don't get it done. And y'all, it is like you are setting yourself up for failure. Why would you set yourself up when you know you're not going to be able to get all of that stuff done? So why not organize our schedule in a way that we actually can get all of the things on our list done, and you can have some closure at the end of the day. And so that's what this does. So I look at that list and I say, here's my heavy lift. Here's my 2 or 3 light touches for Monday. Here's my heavy lift for Tuesday. Here's my 2 or 3 light touches. Now, let's say, for instance, you are having a health issue and you're going to the doctor and you have to go to the doctor all day. Well, your heavy lift for Monday might be all of those doctor's appointments and rest. And then you do a couple of light things. You need to send an email to your list. You need to send some information about the contract that you're signing with an organization back to them. And then you can delegate a task to your CRM or to someone else on your team. Okay. If that's the case, then that physical health, your personal health, can be your heavy lift for the day. Then tomorrow you're feeling better. You're not having all of these doctor's appointments, and you can say, I've got to write out this speech that I've got to do for this organization. I need to do the research on the organization. I need to adapt this talk so that I could do the best that I can for them and make the most impact. That is your heavy lift on Tuesday. And then you do 2 or 3 light touches with that. You continue to the next thing on Wednesday. What is your heavy lift for that day? Maybe you now have to write out your consulting modules that you need to work on, or something that you need to do for your clients or your website. That is your heavy lift for that day, right? And so you are going to say, the one heavy lift I'm doing is this from your list. And the 2 or 3 light touches I'm doing are these from the list. Do not add more than 1 heavy lift. Do 2 or 3 light touches, and you can juggle all the tasks that you have. So here's how this might look for me. Let's say that I'm doing my work as a professor and I'm doing the work that I have for business. Well, my heavy lift might be that I need to write something on a grant. And then my light touch might be, I need to go to this meeting. I need to edit a paper. And then I need to delegate this particular piece of the article to one of my co-authors. Or if I'm doing this in business, okay, here is my heavy lift. Today, my heavy lifting might be podcasting. I might need to do a few episodes of content. And so that's going to be my heavy lift. Then my light touch is I need to do this particular task for a client. I need to ensure that I have put together this checklist, and it's just something that I need to edit. And then there's a third thing that I need to do for my personal health or for my children. I need to make sure that my children are signed up for this sports activity because school is about to start soon. So as you all can see, I've got all of my responsibilities and I'm moving them around and I'm touching them in a way that I don't drop a ball. Now, some people like to just take this from their list each day. So you might look at your list and say, here's my heavy lift and here's my 3 light touches. The good thing about that is that you can flex with your energy. So if you don't have a lot of energy on that particular day and you just need to do a few light touches, you can't even do a heavy lift, that is something that allows you the flexibility. Now, some people are extremely organized and they have the ops brain like me and they want it on their calendar. So you can say, this is the time I'm doing the heavy lift and these are the times that I'm doing the light touches, and you can actually put it on your calendar. It's up to you. The strategy is so flexy. It is flexible. You don't have to do it the same way that everybody else does. And so when you're doing this heavy lift, light touch strategy, you get to make sure that you are focused on that one ball, move it to the place that it needs to go to so that you can move to something else the next day. You could have 2 or 3 days where you do the same heavy lift. It may be a huge task that you need to get done, and that's okay. You can alternate the light touches. Again, as I said just a minute ago, you may have to only do light touches a few days. And this helps you because if you are going on vacation, you need rest. You're trying to figure out how to balance all of the things and get rest. This strategy is great. One thing that I always tell people is that your work needs to be moving but it's not you that has to move it. Okay? Catch that. If your work is moving, it doesn't mean you are the person who has to move it, right? And so if you can get your work to a place where you can go and take a vacation, then let somebody else be moving it along the way while you're gone. So a virtual assistant, a collaborator, a co-worker, whoever it is can move that to another phase. They can be reviewing what you gave them right before you left. That gives them time to review and time to make up their task and get their task done. And then they give it back to you when you come back. So remember, your work should move, but you don't have to move it. So let's review. Juggling. This is a way that you can get all of your responsibilities done without just absolutely losing your mind. So what are you going to do? Brain dump. Get it all out of your head. Think of the many, many things that you have to do this upcoming week. We're going to do this every week. Okay. Think about it. Brain dump it. Get it out of your head onto a piece of paper. Highlight. These are heavy lifts. These are light touches. Then put them on your calendar or pick out what are you going to do? Monday, this heavy lift, these few light touches. Then what do you do Tuesday? This heavy lift, these light touches. Okay. That is the strategy. That is the way that you can get this done. Now, people always ask me a couple of things. One is, what happens when you don't get what you said you are going to get done on a particular day? Well, here's the thing I like to do. I also brain dump a miscellaneous block. So what do I mean by that? A day where if there is a time that I can say maybe from 2 to 4 on Thursdays, I'm going to leave this blank so that if my schedule gets derailed on a day, a child gets sick, I am putting out a fire for something that happens in business, then I can move what I was going to do into that day. If somebody pops up and asks me for something during the week and it wasn't on my schedule, I can put what they asked for into that time block and then get that back to them after the time block has occurred. So I like to do this in a couple of hours block, maybe on one day. If you don't have all of that time, then you can say, I'm going to have 30 minutes buffer on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay. And then do that. Now, a lot of you have been trying to work on the weekends. So you're juggling, but you're saying, I've got time. Well, there's something called the vacation principle. And in the vacation principle, what they say is that if you were going to go on vacation and you knew that you would have no Wi-Fi, you would not be able to get anything done, and you had to finish a task, you would get it done. The only reason you are working on the weekends is because you feel like the weekend is available for work. So don't make it available. Make that time available for your family, for the things that you need to do to take care of yourself, and then you will have a lot more balance in your life. And so think through these things. This is not going to be perfect at first. You're going to have to really work on this, see how it works best for you. But I am telling you, I have done this with literally thousands of faculty and business owners, and it is an amazing strategy. So try that. Break your task into those heavy lifts, light touches, and you will be juggling all of the things that you have to do like a pro. So hop on over to thesystemsboutique.com. You can learn about all the things that we have, the CRM, all of the operations and the systems work that we do in the Systems Boutique, and go in and practice juggling. If you love juggling and it made a difference in your life, go to my DMs. I want to hear from you, Dr. Raymona H. Lawrence on Instagram. Let me know how juggling worked for you, and let me know if there's anything that you need to tweak with the strategy. And I will see you all on the next episode of the Systems Boutique podcast. See you later. Bye. All right, my chic CEOs, that's a wrap for today's episode. If you found value in today's conversation, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another star. That's a speaker, a teacher, an author, or a coach who absolutely needs it. And hey, If you're ready to finally get your systems together, let's chat. Head over to thesystemsboutique.com/strategy to book your systems style strategy call, where we'll map out your perfect business back end. So until next time, keep it chic, keep it systemized, and keep shining like the absolute star you are. See ya.